Hey, welcome to Gaming Garbage, folks. I'm just gonna make sure that my audio is working. I've been having some Twitch trouble, so I reset my router. Looks like it's working. Perfect. So anyway, yeah, reset the router. Hopefully this works. We got the chat up but anyway, I tried doing this yesterday. I got the video, and it works great, but there's literally no audio for the game. No voice, no game audio, and I was like, what is going on? So I didn't even post it to YouTube. And there's been some other kind of weird issues, too, with some of the other streams that I've done, like I think toward the end of Dead Space when I was doing that in Chapter 4, and then it's also happened during doing Dark Souls 1. So... yeah, and it also did it during some of the news I was doing for Jedi Survivor and Redfall. And, yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to figure it out, folks, so sorry for all the technical issues. I'm working on it. So anyway, so this, this here is, I wanted to show this. I know this is a kid's game, and yeah, I'll do kids game every once in a while, because yeah, some of you are definitely old enough to have kids that watch the channel. And I got kids, and so I'll be showing some kid games. And I wanted to show this one because this is an older one. So this was made in... this is Spyro the Dragon, made on PlayStation 1. And they made it through PlayStation 2, I think. And then they remastered it, which is great, for PlayStation and Xbox. And just the style and level design of gaming back then was different. And just the, they didn't have like difficulty modes, right? So they actually designed the difficulty in the game. It wasn't like a mode, or just the fact that you were playing multiplayer and it depended on who was on your lobby. It was more about the level design of the game and the different challenges that they put and built in there. And I feel like there was more creativity then. And I feel like, too, there was actually more effort in creating the game, unlike mini games today. Which is really kind of why we're keeping this channel going and why I've added YouTube. It's to talk about the gaming industry. And so the state of gaming back in the 90s and early 2000s was just different. It was before, for some of you younger folks, CDs were big. It was before really cell phones. I remember when Blackberries and MP3s came out, and the iPod, which you don't even see iPods anymore. I'm sure they're cheap if you find one. And yeah, just we didn't have Blu-rays. We used VHS. That kind of thing. Cassettes, maybe, for older cars. Anyway, but yeah, one of the things was just, the better level design. And so I'm going to show something, and I'm sure I'm going to screw it up because I just got off a night shift, and I'm pretty tired. But I want to show this because this is, doing this actually reminded me of Elden Ring a little bit, where it's the environment. The way the game level is designed can create the difficulty. So let's give it a shot. Oop, gotta try again already. I think I hit a rafter, which sucks. Well, let's try again. Oh my word. And I'll chat about something else too that was on my mind tonight. Something happened before work and I just want to share it because I think it's important. And the more people that can be oh, for Pete's sakes. See that little blip right there? Gotta try to get over that. You gotta run all the way back, try again. Yeah, I want to share that too, because I think it's important for you younger folks to hear it. And just kind of what it's really procuring in our society. Not just not just video games, but just in our society in general. Whoa, stay on course, bro. Oh, no way. I am gonna get this. So yeah, that'll be at the end. The thing I want to share. And the thing I want to share will probably be about, you know, realistically, probably 15-20 minutes. Because I'll kind of rant on. That's just what I end up doing in the long term, is just ranting on about stuff. And I'm just kind of thinking about it while I'm talking about it. So yeah, just kind of ramble a bit, you know, and that's just who I am. Turning into an old man already. Certainly proud of it. Oh my goodness! So close. But anyway, there's a chest in here that you had to supercharge and do it in order to break it. And it's just that kind of level design that I miss. It's not, again, it's today the difficulty is that they've turned the level design into the multiplayer. They've turned it into the grindiness. They've turned it into you know, working toward an achievement. And I'm not talking just like an Xbox achievement, but like something that's really just kind of like, really, like working for a skin, or looking for new boots and pants, or, you know, adding, and like, there's a way to make grindiness acceptable, enjoyable. And I don't feel like a lot of games do that. I feel like Elden Ring did pretty good. I feel like Minecraft is pretty good, because you basically come up with your own plan on what you want to do, and then you do it. And those can be pretty grindy sometimes. And also racing games, right? They can be kind of grindy, you know, try again. And, but yeah, I kind of miss the old way. See, games had a certain, you know, games have a certain value to them. A certain amount of money that they cost. I remember when a game was normally $50. Can you believe that? I'm that old. Anyway, so yeah, they normally have a value, and if the game isn't, of course, done right, it's not good. But also, if it's too short for the value of that $50, it doesn't feel like you got your money's worth out of it, right? You'd rather wait for a cheaper price and buy it. And so back then, they had to come up with things like this, like different challenges, different areas, tell a story through it. You know, this was all what it was just single player stuff. I mean, this was all they had. And now I feel like the industry today has really lost a lot of that skill. And I don't think it's taken into account either how many people have truly retired, and how much hundreds of years of experience we've lost in studios and developers. Because we had 75 million people retire between 2020 and 2021, folks. 75 million. That's half of our workforce at the time. That is a lot. A lot of people were coming into, but that's partly why we saw this shortage. Too many people were leaving and retiring at a fast rate. Some died due to COVID. Some had to quit because of vaccine issues. And that's in the Better Business Bureau data for labor statistics. That's it. That's in there. And yeah, there's just a lot of reasons, but yeah, a huge one. 75 million people retiring from the workforce. And that is so much. That is so many people. And we saw a good amount retiring also in 2022, but it wasn't as many. But yeah, the bulk, 75 million in those 2 years. Just so much experience left. And I have not heard anyone else talk about that so far. And I think I only know that because I look at economic data for fun. Trying to make money, trying to build that retirement, trying to make better decisions for my family. And, but yeah, that's partly why there was a labor shortage. I mean, we shut a ton of jobs down, right, due to COVID. Things just weren't open. And so people decided to retire. And we had the whole mask thing, and vaccines were coming out in December 2020 and well into 21. So yeah, people were just tired of the BS and was just like, I'm just going to retire. And we still, in a way, I feel like kind of have a shortage, certainly in certain sectors. And the pay is great, let me tell you. But with that many people retiring, I think too in the gaming space, we just lost some really great people that had tons of experience, and now that experience has left those studios. Maybe this is why, or a huge reason why, so many studios and publishers are having trouble putting out good games since 2020. The last one that I really flippin' enjoyed right up before COVID was like, I think it was delayed though into COVID, but anyway, like Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Really fun game. And then after that, it was just like, weren't. Then we had Elden Ring, we had God of War in there, which was good. Modern Warfare 2 wasn't too bad starting out. But yeah, there was just a lot of games where it's like, ouch. It's just not good. Was Breath of the Wild in there too? I can't remember. But yeah, I think that's partly why some of the level design has changed, why certain things are focused on. Again, the easiness of just getting money for nothing is definitely in the industry. But yeah, just all those folks retiring. So, and I wish we had more games like this. I mean, actually doing this and the level design and kind of the exploration of Spyro as I've been playing, it's kind of like playing a dumbed down version of Elden Ring. And it's so fun. It's just, yeah, it's more chill and just laid back, and it's a blast. So to get to my other topic. So, I was walking, or I went into the bank today, and going into the bank, I was talking to the teller and stuff, and we got onto the topic of conversation of kids, and I mentioned, I was like, yeah, well, you can do that with like your grandkids, because we were kind of talking about retirement, and she's like, oh, I don't have any grandkids. And she's like, my kids can't get their shit together. And I kind of thought about that, and I was like, well, I got 2 kids, I'm trying to raise them well, and I'm thinking about how to raise them and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I'd like grandkids, but, I don't have any. And I said, well, I'm thinking about like the future jobs for my children when they get old enough, because they got about, 15, 18 years for when they're really kind of starting to get into the workforce. And I think a lot of things are going to be different in the job industry, in the job market by then. I can't even imagine part of it. And some of it won't change, but other parts of it will. And we're starting to see those changes now. And I was like, yeah, I want to help my kids. And remember, this is an older lady. And she just said, I don't really care what the job market's going to be like. I'm about out of it, so, it won't affect me none. And I just stood there for a minute thinking about how just inconsiderate and just blatant, just the apathy was strong in this one. And she literally didn't care about her coworkers. She didn't care about any of her family members. She didn't seem to care about her children. There's probably some hurt there or something, but I mean, she just didn't seem to care at all about how people can make money in the future. So there's still going to be jobs, but like when the auto industry shifted stuff over to robotics on the assembly line, A lot of people lost their jobs when, same with agriculture. We started getting these machines and people had to go find something else to work. So I do think there will always be job for people. But yeah, we're going to see this new kind of leveraging in the next probably 2 or 3 decades where some industries are drastically going to change from what they are today. And COVID, in a way, has sped that stuff up. And it's accelerating faster than what people can kind of handle right now or certain industries can handle. And then, yeah, what it's going to be like for my kids and my grandkids, and what's it going to be like for my friends and the people of the town I live in, and yeah, just the general people. People just seem very underprepared most of the time, and just you know willing to work on bettering their future tomorrow. Kind of like how people see diets. Oh, well, I'll start tomorrow, and it's always tomorrow, all the time. And again, I don't know this lady's story, but yeah, just the apathy of not caring at all was just kind of shocking to see from an older person. And as I left, I didn't drive very far. I drove by the farmer's market, and there were some people holding up some signs. And they were saying, honk for this political party. And they were really like shaking the signs to get me to honk. And I, exaggeratedly shook my head no, because I wasn't going to honk. And one of the ladies, again, it was an older lady, probably a Karen, and the look she gave me, oh my word, I haven't had a look like that in a long time. Just daggers, like wish you were dead kind of a person, kind of a look. And it just made me like think about the response that she decided to give. Well, for one, it made me not like her. It made me too also not want to get to know her or have anything to do with her at all. Um, and we got to think about how we interact with folks, and that other people are going to live differently, and that other people are going to have different views on stuff, and that's okay. And we shouldn't live in such a way to where we force change on someone else either. If they want to live a certain way, hey, that's their bit. And I fully believe in liberty and being able to exercise our rights as citizens. But we should not impose our beliefs or our frame of mind necessarily on someone else. That doesn't mean we can't talk about it, but we shouldn't constantly, once we figure it out, hey, I think this way and this is why, we should accept the person for that and be willing to have conversations and discussions too. And I think some of those are extremely important. It's kind of like, we have one gal who just doesn't give a rip at all, who's close to retirement. And we got another gal where you have to think like she does. Because you didn't honk your horn, and you should. And both of those are narcissistic. And I see that a lot in my town. I see that a lot in my state, in the politics too. And I see that on both sides of the aisle. Conservatives and liberals and everyone else in between. And, I really think that's got to stop. Because we don't have conversations anymore. Facebook is dying because of all of the arguments we had for the last 10 years over politics and over everything else. And we've also doing boycotts, and we're also, trying to cancel stuff. Like Tucker Carlson just got canceled. It barely hit the news at all. We also had another guy on CNN get canceled the same day. And that wasn't really talked about either. And I really think both of them are just is that something else was really going on, and they just needed to find some kind of reason to just let them go. So they could get them out of there. Because they weren't fitting the narrative, close enough. And, whatever the story is, I don't necessarily believe it from main media. Just like how all of the media that previewed Redfall or was able to get some footage or to do another preview just before launch of Redfall, we know now that all of that was basically BS. And Redfall was in a horrible state and it never should have been released. But yeah, I want you to think about it, today and starting into Monday and into this week is like, how are you responding to people? Are you being kind? You don't necessarily have to be polite, right? But be kind to people. Go out of your way to do something nice. And it really doesn't take that much anymore. Where I live, holding open the door is about as far as people go. But people don't, help people afford groceries. People don't pull over on the side of the road next to someone else that has their flashers on to see if they're okay. People won't try to help someone else that's fallen on the street. People won't offer food to somebody that you can tell is starving. People just don't do nice stuff. They're nice to your face. They smile. They BS. They make really good small talk conversationalists. But they're not polite people. They're not kind. They wouldn't do anything for you. Your house could be burning down and they would stand out there and just record it on their phone and put it to Facebook or YouTube and be like, it's so sad this person's house felt, burnt down. And that's the world that we're creating, folks. Every time we join in and be a part of it and think about ourselves and think about how we can get status through social media and how we can enjoy someone else's demise or the vengeance, and it's just insane, folks. It's really getting out of hand. And we got to be a part of people's lives. And things are hard right now for a lot of people, and it's going to continue to get harder. It's not going to get easier. So check on people. Even if you live with family members or have roommates, which I'm sure a lot of my listeners do, invest in them as people. Build those relationships. Make those relationships deeper on a deeper level. Reach out. And yeah, it's going to be a little weird and awkward. And if they're curious, just tell them. Just tell them what's going on. Hey, I want better relationships in my life. I want to feel like people care about me, that people actually love me back. Instead of just feeling alone, depressed, and just like, my birthday is me buying a cupcake and lighting a candle by myself. I mean, holy crap, folks. That's depressing. And if you don't like your life, change it. It's yours to change. But the change really, most of the time, I'll give you a tip for those that haven't figured it out yet. Most of the time, change needs to happen with us first. Because how we live and how we interact with people, other people are free to respond to that how they want. And most of the time, we don't like their response. So then we respond back in a negative way. Oh, well, I'm just not going to hang out then. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to be mad. And, it's your fault for making me mad instead of me being a dick and changing how I interact with you in the first place, And then I'm just going to continue to be a dick because you didn't cater to me. And that's kind of where our world is. That's where it is, and that's where it's going. And really where it's going is that we will have a further breakdown in families. We'll have a further breakdown in marriages. I see so many comments, and I even hear this from people at work, where it's like, they don't know how to date anybody. They don't know how to find a woman, somebody mature that's willing to start a family, someone that they can chat with. And they don't know how to have discussions with people. It's all emotions all the flippin' time. And they don't know what love is. And that's why the divorce rate is 55%. And I could rant on about this, but I won't, because I don't want to take up a ton of your time. Or a ton of mine either. I still gotta sleep. But yeah, take time to invest in your world. Whatever size and whatever that looks like. Take time to care about people, to invest in them. And it is going to take some work and it is going to take some time, but people are starving right now for any help they can get. People are starving for attention, for someone to show that they care, because things are hard. When we all got all the money we want, like the stimulus, when we got jobs, I'm pretty sure I saw a guy today walking down the street on my road here when I was driving home. Pretty sure he was, quote, on his way to work, but he was actually let go. And he's not sure what he's going to do, and so he's just walking the street at 6:30 in the morning. He didn't look homeless. But yeah, middle-aged, had some clothes on that kind of looked like work clothes, and just, he left for work, parked his car, and just started kind of walking to kill time. That happened in 2008 and in 2000. I mean, that even happened during the Great Depression. So yeah, check on people, folks. Be a part of your world. If you don't like it, work on changing it. And think about what you can change for yourself, too. How can you grow? What's a perspective that isn't healthy? That if you saw in someone else, you'd be like, wow, yeah, that's your problem. Be thinking about that this week, folks. And don't worry, throughout the year, I'll chat about stuff like this every so often toward the end of videos. I'm keeping tabs on y'all. And I care. I see so many people I wish I could help. Or that I just wish would listen sometimes. And then it reminds me too, with how I'm doing. Am I listening enough? Am I asking enough questions? Am I having enough introspection into myself to see what I need to change or improve? So yeah, I'll be thinking about that. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you can enjoy the rest before Monday. And I'll see you on the next one.